Hi everyone, meteorologist Bill Rentschler in the 1011 Now streaming studio. A lot to talk about in the forecast over the coming days as a really nice stretch of weather to start the week is going to turn much more active as we head into the second half of the week. As a strong low pressure system, strong upper level trough, upper level energy, all going to swing through the area and going to be turning again things much more active for us as we head over the coming days. We'll go ahead and start off a look at our surface map as we head through the remainder of our Tuesday evening. The weather looks like it should remain quiet overnight tonight. A few more clouds, maybe a few spotty showers. There's just a little bit of upper level energy moving through the region that could pop off a few spotty showers in parts of southeastern Nebraska, though any moisture we potentially see would remain fairly negligible. It's as we head into the day on Wednesday that things really begin to change, particularly towards the afternoon and evening. That stationary front down to our south is going to surge northward as a warm front as we head through the day on your Wednesday, and with that warm front, again, we're going to see the warmer temperatures, and then along and just out ahead of that warm front, we're going to watch for the potential for thunderstorm development as we head into Wednesday evening. Particularly, I think, across parts of central and eastern Nebraska and the northern tier of central and eastern Nebraska as well. As again, an upper level trough begins to kind of push in from the west, surface low begins to develop across the area. All those things are going to combine to potentially lead to some elevated thunderstorm development that could be on the strong to severe side, potentially producing some large hail, damaging winds, and some locally heavy rainfall across the region for us as well. And then as we head Wednesday into Thursday, again, the weather stays active as that surface low pressure system finally really wraps up and then begins to push through the state. So as we head into the day on Thursday, you can see by 8 a.m. Thursday, there's already a lot of moisture falling for areas off to our west, across parts of the Panhandle, southwestern South Dakota, and then into Wyoming. And you can see with the cold air being wrapped into the system as well, we're going to be dealing with some areas of snow and potentially heavy snow across parts of the mountains and the high country in the Colorado Rockies and into Wyoming as well. So again, through the day on Thursday, the surface low really deepens and then tracks across the state. The exact track of the low still a little bit uncertain, and again, still has time to change. And again, a wobble of this track, 50 miles in any direction, could have big impacts on potentially who sees strong to severe thunderstorms, who sees maybe some heavy rain, who doesn't see as much rain. But again, out ahead of this surface front or the surface low pressure system along a surging dry line, another round of strong to severe thunderstorms is expected to impact parts of central and eastern Nebraska as we head into Thursday night. And this time, again, we're not only dealing with large hail, damaging winds, locally heavy rain, but there is at least a limited threat for tornadoes just because of all the twisting and turning of the winds in the atmosphere, especially in the lowest levels. There's going to be a lot of wind shear. So again, that twisting and turning is what can cause things to really start to rotate. So can't rule out maybe an isolated tornado or two as we head through the day, really, again, late afternoon into the evening hours on your Thursday. And then as that system then Thursday night into Friday continues to push through the area, that whole shield of precipitation will push across the state. And again, could end up leading to some areas of heavy rain across the region. And then on the back end of that system, much colder. And again, very strong winds associated with the back end of that system for us as well. So if we look at the precipitation potential over the next several days, again, models have trended this a little further to the north over the last several days. So again, that axis of heaviest moisture, which isn't necessarily going to come all in the form of rain, is going to be across the far northern parts of the state into South Dakota. Areas could see anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of rain, kind of in that darker maroon shaded color. And again, we've mentioned the dry slot with this system, and that dry slot again keeps kind of trying to trend further north and to the east. So again, parts of south central, southwestern Nebraska may not see much moisture at all with this system. But again, you can see a zoomed in look again, at least as the way things stand now. The northern tier of the state looks to pick up quite a bit of moisture with this system over the coming days. Also, again, like I mentioned, not necessarily all going to fall in the form of rain. Some snow is expected across parts of the west. European model still has some of that snow across parts of the Panhandle into southeastern Wyoming. The American GFS model has some pockets of heavier snow being possible across, again, the northern tier of the Panhandle and into the mountain regions there in southeastern Wyoming. In terms of the severe weather risk, into the day on Wednesday, we have a marginal risk covering the eastern half of the state, so some isolated severe storms will be possible. Large hail, damaging winds, and locally heavy rain would be our primary threats. But then on Thursday, we have that marginal and slight risk, meaning isolated to scattered severe storms are possible across the eastern third of the state, with that slight risk across the southeastern corner of the state down across parts of northeastern Kansas. So again, severe weather will be something to watch for over the next 2 days. And then, like I mentioned, mentioned, on the back end of the system, we're going to be dealing with a lot of wind. So if we look at the future wind gusts, again, Wednesday night into the day on Thursday, as that surface low begins to push into southwestern Nebraska, we'll start to see that breeze pick up out of the south and southeast for Lincoln and eastern sections of the state. But then as we head through the day on that Thursday and that low tracks through the state, you can see those winds picking up out of the north and northwest for western sections of the state. I think the windiest time period will come Friday morning into the afternoon as that low tracks through eastern sections of the state. On the back end of that system, we could see winds gusting 40 to 50 to maybe even 55 miles an hour out of the north and out of the northwest through Friday morning into the early afternoon. Lincoln and eastern Nebraska likely sees those strongest north and northwest winds as we head Friday afternoon into Friday evening before that system finally begins to push out of the area. But even through the first half of the day on Sunday, we're dealing with a pretty brisk north wind across much of the 10-11 coverage area. If we zoom in, take a closer look again overnight tonight into early on Wednesday, things should stay fairly quiet. A few spotty showers, a few clouds, but again, overall fairly quiet. Through most of the day on Wednesday, again, even things stay generally fairly quiet as that warm front again surges to the north. It's not until later Wednesday night that we start to see those storms erupt again just along into the north of that warm front across the northern tier of the state is where most of those short-term models have had that activity. But again, that threat is there for basically all of central and eastern sections of the state. And as we head Wednesday into Thursday, again, you can really start to see the rotation as that surface low begins to develop and move into southwestern Nebraska. And through the day on Thursday, we're looking at scattered to maybe potentially numerous showers and thunderstorms across parts of western sections of the state into Thursday late afternoon and evening, as we're going to watch for the potential for strong to severe thunderstorms into eastern and particularly southeastern sections of the state. So again, a lot going on through the day on your Thursday. In terms of just temperatures, look for lows into Wednesday morning, ranging anywhere from the upper 30s to the upper 40s and low 50s. Warmest readings in the southeast. High temperatures on Wednesday for those areas south of the warm front, we're looking at mid to upper 70s, low 80s. North of the front, we're in the upper 60s to low to mid 70s. 77 in Lincoln, but up to the low to mid 80s for areas like Falls City, Beatrice, Hebron, McCook for the day on Wednesday. Lows into Thursday morning, again staying mild as again a warm, moist air mass gets pulled in to the region by this storm system. Look for lows in the low 50s to low 60s for much of central and eastern Nebraska on Thursday. And then Thursday afternoon is going to be one of those days, again potentially dealing with very cold conditions for parts of western Nebraska, only in the 40s, with then highs in the mid to upper 70s and even low 80s across parts of south central and southeastern sections of the state. So it'll be quite the temperature gradient across the state for the day on Thursday. And then things turn colder from there. Friday morning, we're looking at lows anywhere from the low 40s to low 50s, but then Friday afternoon, again, keep in mind to go along with a very strong north and northwest wind. Friday afternoon, we'll only see highs anywhere from the low 40s to the low to mid 50s across a good chunk of 10-11 country. 7-day forecast looks like this. Again, best chances for moisture come over the next several days. We'll go from temperatures in the mid to upper 70s Wednesday, Thursday to the middle 50s on Friday with, again, windy conditions expected. And then we stay a little bit cooler than average through the upcoming weekend and into early next week, but generally dry conditions then are expected as we head into the weekend and at least into the first part of the week. Next week, again, forecast still has time to change, and we're still working on ironing out some details, so make sure you stay tuned to the updated forecast discussions from 10-11, both on air and online, over the next 24 to 48 hours.